Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Malvika and welcome back to the IMG Marvels YouTube page. Today we've compiled a few videos from our seniors who've been really kind to sit down and film their experiences of the Foundation Year 1 and the Foundation Year 2 standalone program for you guys. Hopefully this video will give you some insight and make you mentally prepared for your first day. Hope you guys enjoy.
Hello, hi, my name is Alias. I'm a doctor at Dareford Hospital and I've just finished my F1.
Hi, my name is Maham and I have just completed my FY2 up in the north of Scotland.
Hi guys, my name's Haya and I am completing Foundation Year 1 here in the UK. I hope this video answers any questions you might have. I'll just be talking about common things in F1 and things that I wish I had been told prior to starting F1. This isn't any official advice, it's just based on my experience. F1 has been a great year. You work with many different teams, get to know a lot of people. The most important thing about being in F1, I would say, is being a safe doctor, and that means asking advice from your colleagues, your seniors, the nurses, pharmacists, and other people working on your team with you. First day can be quite daunting because you're not sure what exactly is expected from you, but just be open, be adaptable, and understand that there's always someone that you can ask for help. No one's going to get upset with you if you ask them a silly question because, as I mentioned before, the most important thing is patient care and patient safety. So if you need to escalate, ask any questions, do it. Your day usually starts up on whichever ward you'll be based on. You prepare the patient list, which includes all old patients and any new patients that might have been admitted overnight. So what you do is you prepare the patient notes. That includes the presenting complaint, any background information, the patient's vital signs, most recent bloods, and any relevant investigation. And then you go around and you see the patient with the consultant or the registrar and you make a plan for each patient. And that includes any jobs that'll be needed to be done during the day. So that can be request and follow up on a CT head or discuss this patient's antibiotics with microbiology, request bloods for this patient, update this patient's family. So no day is the exact same as the previous day. It's always different things going on.
The trifecta: documentation, communication, and escalation. Yo, this is a trifecta. Bro, if I was writing an F1 guide, those three are the one. Communication, because what will happen is a lot of times jobs or clinical decisions or plans get lost in the management process because people haven't said the plan very clearly. They've said, oh, do blah, 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 and they'll do it really quickly. Especially in surgery, your ward rounds will be fast. It's okay. It will be very overwhelming, but you need to stand your ground, tell your registrar, your consultant, your F2, whoever it is, by the way, like I'm new, I need to kind of readjust, and they'll recognize it. They might give you a little bit of a headbutt or a nudge here or there, but they'll know that you're actively trying and they'll take it easy.
There's going to be a lot of times where you are told to do something, know why you are doing that something, because you will be the person that whoever you're speaking to is going to ask you all the questions that you need to make sure you know the answers to. For example, if a registrar or a consultant asks you to order X, Y, and Z imaging or tests for a patient, you need to know why they're asking you to do that, because whoever you are requesting them from is going to ask you why. And if you don't know the answer, then it's going to just turn into you going back to your consultant, asking, coming back, relaying the message. You're going to be stuck in the middle of all of this, and you don't want to be in that situation because it not only annoys you, it annoys the person you're on the phone with, and it also annoys your consultant because you keep going back and forth. Understand why you're doing everything. Even if that means it's taking a little bit of time from the ward round, etc., no one's going to be mad at you for asking because they know you need to know this stuff. The last thing you want to do, and this happens a lot at the beginning of FI1, and it can happen like throughout the year as well, is that you'll be asked to do something, you'll think that you're in a rush to do it, so you won't bother asking, oh, why? But then you'll get stuck into this argument with the radiologist or the labs or the microbiologist, etc., on what is happening with this patient or why you're requesting this stuff, and you have zero answer to back yourself up on why you're actually doing this.
The second part was knowing when to escalate.
So as an F1, although you're the most junior doctor on the team, a lot of times you're going to be the first point of contact for nurses who are concerned about a sick patient. I think it's very important to be confident in doing a full A to E assessment. So try to study up on that, brush up on that, watch YouTube videos. so that you're confident in that. And then it's important to escalate to your SHO, your reg, or your consultant anytime that you're concerned about a patient. We use a mnemonic or a tool called SBAR, and that's what we use to escalate or refer patients. So it stands for situation, background, assessment, and recommendation. So situation, you call up your reg, for example, and you introduce yourself. Hello, my name's Haya, I'm covering this ward. I'm concerned about one of my patients who's desaturating. Just like a quick, this is a situation. And then B, for background, you give a little bit more information. Patient came in due to this, give them the presenting complaint, and he has a background of hypertension and diabetes, for example. Next thing is A, and A is your assessment. So you give them any relevant information such as heart rate, blood pressure, rest rate, oxygen sats, temperature. You give them your quick A to E. This is what I think is happening. And you give them the news score, the early warning score. R is recommendation. So this is what I've done. Do you have any further suggestions or recommendations on what I can do? Or if you're very concerned, patient's deteriorating, you say, I think you need to come see this patient immediately. A lot of times, especially out of hours, there's only one medical registrar covering the entire hospital. So when you call them, bleep them, make sure that you have all patient information that you possibly can so they get a good idea of what's going on. On the other hand, if the patient is acutely deteriorating and you need help immediately, you can put out a crash call and the medical team, ITU, anesthetics, everyone will show up and kind of take it from there. Another important part about being an F1 is being very hands-on. You're going to be asked to take bloods from a patient, insert a cannula, insert a catheter. A lot of times the nurses are very experienced and do a great job getting everything done, but sometimes they're unsuccessful and they escalate it to the F1. You might be thinking, I've only done like 4 cannulas in my entire life. How am I going to be able to do this? But just give it a go. And if you're unable to do it, just escalate it to your SHO. And then hopefully someone can get the cannula in.
You need to document every single little thing you do. I swear to you, if you didn't document in the notes what you've done, it didn't happen. Don't care what you said, don't care if the consultant saw you, don't care if your reg saw you. At the end of the day, if it's not written in the notes, it didn't happen by law. Anything you write, you need to be able to defend yourself in court. Anything. Yeah. So if it's, oh, I wanted to take bloods off this patient. You take bloods every single day for patients sometimes you don't. If you happen to take bloods and you don't document in the plan that you took bloods, but bloods were taken, the hospital could be like, why did you take bloods? It wasn't written in the notes. Why did you unnecessarily take bloods? You're wasting money, you're wasting funds, etc. You need to justify yourself. So at the end of the day, do what you need to do, but always document and always justify. And if you're not sure, what do? Escalate. That is how you do it.
Something I found that is a common scenario that I wish was stressed upon a bit more in med school is arterial blood gases or venous blood gases, ABGs and VBGs. I feel like it's done so commonly in the hospital every single day, but it isn't something that was that stressed upon when we were studying. So a lot of times, crash calls or on the ward, you might be asked to do an ABG and then go run the ABG on the machine and then analyze it or discuss it with your reg. Nurses can't do ABG, so it's always going to end up being one of the doctors doing it. And the ABG is going to give you a lot of information such as the pH, CO2, oxygen, lactate. So it's a very important test. I'd say start early. Don't shy away from doing ABGs, especially on stable patients on the ward who might need it, because chances are very likely that you're going to be called to an acutely unwell patient and someone's going to be like, you do the ABG, go run the gas. So just kind of try to get confident with it. I'd say it's also important to read up and refresh your memory on analyzing blood gas results. So the common causes of respiratory acidosis, metabolic alkalosis, things like that. Another important thing to understand is that in the UK, everything has guidelines. Your hospital might have their own guidelines, or you can follow NICE guidelines, but always refer to guidelines for everything. It makes life much easier. For example, if you have a patient who's hyperkalemic, there's guidelines for that. If you have a patient whose magnesium's low, there's guidelines for that. So always refer to guidelines because they're very precise and specific and very helpful. There's also a few helpful apps that you can download. So it depends hospital to hospital, but we had an app called MicroGuide, and you basically put your hospital information in there, and then it gives you advice based on patient presentation, what you're treating the patient for, your location, so it'll give you antibiotics specifically for your area and for whatever you're treating your patient. Another important one that I'm sure you're all aware of is BNF, which basically lists every medication you might possibly prescribe, including its dose, indication, side effects, contraindications, and there's also a BNF for children, so definitely have that downloaded in your phone. I use it every single day. Always refer to it when prescribing medication. The pharmacists are also great, and they can also help you out if you need to adjust the dose based on someone's renal function or weight, so you can always ask them as well.
Induction is also another very helpful app which will have all the extensions specific to your hospital. You don't have to go through the switch, just a quick dial from your phone and it will save you a lot of time.
As always, don't forget to like, share this video with any of your friends who you think might find it helpful, and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.